Welcome. We are here today to talk about why tell stories in business. I'm Tiffany Kellogg with Asentiv, and I'm excited to be joined by two other Asentiv facilitators from across the globe. Well, one's across the globe, one's an hour or two away from me, as we explore this idea of why tell stories in business. So, gentlemen, I got to ask, why should we tell stories in business?
Please, Bharat.
Yeah, so yes, stories. I remember, in fact, in 2013 when I met Tom first in BNI National International Conference in LA, and I was sitting across the table in the breakfast table, and every DC of BNI was asking Tom, "How do you launch a chapter in 6 weeks?" And that is also about 36. So I still remember the moment. And when I came back in India, I was telling the same story to my team. How does Tom launch his chapter in 6 weeks? Either he disbands it. Okay. So stories always relate to a person very well. Stories always relate to a actions also. Stories always relate to a situations also. Stories are always useful. Whenever you say the story, it connects to the person. And we always talk about case studies. Okay, what did Coca-Cola did, what did Apple did. But are we Coca-Cola or are we Apple? We are not. Okay, so we need to relate to stories which are connecting to us and in the same level, and it actually gives results. So stories makes a big difference in business.
I love that. Yes, stories can be so impactful. And I love the saying stories sell where facts just tell. There's so
Yes.
much we can remember. And if we think about this idea of stories prior to the written word, that's how lessons were passed down. That's how legends were created. People use that storytelling format to be able to share. And I'm gonna go over to you, Tom, next, just for your thoughts. Though, so for our Facebook user, I'm not sure who you are, so you can either go to restream.io/Facebook and that will sync, or if you're commenting as you're watching on Facebook or you have questions, please put your name in there. So thank you, Facebook user, for three very smart people here. We will try to live up to that expectation. Tom, your thoughts on this initial beginning of our conversation?
Well, I just wanted to build on what you had shared there in terms of the fact that stories, uh, drove humanity to where we are today prior to the written word, whether they be picture stories or verbal stories. And if you think about even when we were children, when we were 3 or 4 years old, how we learned were stories that began once upon a time. And so we're literally conditioned to learn through story because they're memorable. And when it comes to referral based marketing, that's your goal, to be memorable, to build top of mind awareness and brand recognition.
Awesome. Thank y'all so very much. We are here today exploring this conversation of why tell stories in business. And so, what kind of stories could we be sharing in business? I know there's probably more than one kind of story. And we're not talking about stories like fibbing. No, 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 no. We're talking about giving us some details inside a story. So, what kind of stories can we be sharing?
So yeah, okay. So stories is supposed to make a point, okay, in businesses, and we are working with professionals and we are working with people who are into B2B services worldwide. We are doing the same thing. You, Tom, me, and somewhere it is not easy to market yourself, but stories make a big difference. And when you talk about stories, you show them some picture of what benefit they're going to get it. Okay, it's not about telling; it's about showing what will happen if they work with us. And its stories also make it more of pull than push. You don't need to push it; it's more of pull because you've gone through it, you experienced it, and someone else has experienced it, and it has made a big difference to them. So when you show stories, people are ready to work with you, and it's easy to close deals faster. Easy to close deals faster. So that's what, for me, stories makes a big difference in the business.
I love that concept, Bharat, that stories are about pulling, not pushing. And as you're speaking there, I'm thinking of the concept and the power of testimonials about people's businesses. You know, this is the way things were. This is what happened as a result of utilizing someone's product or service. And this is what resulted. And to me, those stories are business professionals, those testimonials are business professionals' ammunition to promote you with power and passion. So we need to help load their gun, load their toolbox, load their treasure chest of stories in order to promote us with power and passion. And the only way for us to do that is to share those testimonials, share those stories with them, so that when they're in front of a prospect, they can say to you, to that prospect, wow, I know a guy who can help you in this way. Let me tell you a story, basically a testimonial that they had shared with me.
Yeah.
So one of the things I love about testimonials, like I'll talk to people inside the Ignite Your Business program or Asentiv Pro and be like, okay, what do we want to teach the people in our network? And they give a laundry list of products and services and hours and businesses and ideal clients and blah, 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 which is a lot of stuff to remember. One of the things I love about success stories or testimonials is we kind of wrap a lot of those components into a single story, which helps us remember it. You know, can we talk about who our ideal client is? Can we talk about who gave us the referral? What profession? Can we talk about the benefits they received? I mean, there's so much that we can wrap into these success stories and these testimonials. Now, though, a lot of people have a hard time capturing those success stories, because one of the things I like to do, especially, is like, here's a video testimonial. So not only can you talk about me, also if my referral source is in front of them, like, hey, check out this video real quick on YouTube. But how, you know, do you gentlemen have any suggestions on gathering those testimonials? Because I know a lot of people, it's like, yes, I want testimonials. And how can I get more testimonials?
Yeah. So, okay, when talking about testimonials, you get a lot of testimonials, but are these testimonials genuine, or are these testimonials making a big difference? Okay. So, talking about testimonials, if you work on the pain point of the customer or the prospect, and the person who wants to refer has got a great solution to refer, or say great solution to advise to the prospect, is actually objection based testimonial. Okay, the pain point and the benefit. Now, if you have to gather a testimonial, for sure, I normally ask people, okay, what's a benefit you got working with me until now? And based on the feedback, honest feedback I get from them, I ask them, if you need to give me a testimonial, how can you give it? You want to give it to video or text, or maybe frame it and give it? That's fine, whatever your choice is. Because, you know, according to behavior styles, you'll have a different type of testimonials coming in. And that's where you can get the testimonials based on behavior styles also. And some people love to give video testimonials. But the language should be, what was a major pain point they had it, and how it got solved. And that's a major common pain point every professional, every entrepreneur will have it.
Gotcha.
And that's what we are here for.
Love it. Love it.
Excellent. Yeah, I think Bharat is right on track. Just to add a little bit to what he's sharing, I often find that I have to proactively ask people for testimonials. People don't step right up traditionally and say, hey, I'd like to offer you a testimonial. And when I do ask them for a testimonial, I find that they might need a little coaching in terms of what to share. Because when you ask people, hey, how did you enjoy my product or service? Their initial response is, oh, it was great. But that really doesn't say too much. And in Asentiv, for instance, we help people save time, make money, and have fun. So when we seek testimonials about how people's businesses and lives have changed, have transformed as a result of what it is that we teach, we tend to coach them. Let me ask you what you learned. Did it save you time, and how so? Did it make you money, and how so? Did you have some fun, and are you having more fun in your business, and how so? And when you draw those specifics out of people and document those, that's when you've got a powerful testimonial that speaks to, as Bharat said, that pain point or that pleasure point. And you do want to have your testimonials generate a consistent theme. And what I mean by that is if you help people live a healthier lifestyle, make sure all of your testimonials speak to the fact that people are feeling healthier as a result of your product or service, whether you're a massage therapist, physical therapist, chiropractor, so on and so forth.
Love it, Tom. I love, all of what we're doing and having that theme. Like you mentioned, my goal is more money, more time, more fun. I want to make sure it doesn't have to hit all three in the testimonials because some people have different focus, but it's got to talk about at least one of those. And what I think has been interesting since mid 2020 is people are much more comfortable on Zoom than they ever were. I was having a conversation yesterday with a mastermind group of mine, and we were talking about, I've been on Zoom since 2017, no biggie, but it's the rest of the world that came on in 2020. And so sometimes I'll just, go to Zoom, which you can have a free account, and have the conversation with people. What I do is I just say, hey, be sure to say 1, 2, 3 before you get started. So it makes sure the camera's on you. And then you can even have a conversation, tell me about what's going on, and then send it to an editor and they can make it all fancy and put it together for you. And you create these video testimonials that then you can turn into written testimonials. And whether you have them as written and video testimonials or you're just sharing them verbally, your goal is you want to give, your referral sources these as ammunition that they can use when they're in front of prospects. And they're the ammunition that you can use when you're in front of prospects. To me, anytime I can put that kind of story into it, like, here's an ideal or a concept, here's how it's been implemented, I think it makes it so much more powerful. So we've talked a little bit about testimonials. Anything else, gentlemen, you want to add on this conversation of testimonials, our success stories in telling stories in business?
So I have something to share. Normally I tell people search you on Google a lot, right? So if someone wants to work with Tom or Tiffany, they will go and search on Google who's the person, and they will type your name and search. So one of the prospect was searching me on Google, and he found some testimonials on the website. And I always tell my clients to give a honest testimony. Whatever you want to put in. I don't want to tell you anything. And the prospect knew one of my clients. And this guy prospect was one of the busiest person. He didn't have time for his family also. And he cross-checked with the client about how was the experience working with Bharat and Asentiv. And actually he got the same response what was written on the website. Right? So the idea is genuine testimonials work. Prospects check with other people on the testimonials also. So then they come to know whether it's a genuine testimonial or a fake testimonial. And it makes a big difference in your image because you're collecting genuine testimonials without changing anything. So
love it. That's awesome.
Study idea.
Very good point there. Yeah, that's why one of the things I love about when we can capture, and it depends on your business. Some of your businesses, you're not going to be able to say, here's the name of the person, whether it's HIPAA or bar or just the ethical of, it's a private conversation. Some of you do have the opportunity to say, here's the person or here's the business. But I think, testimonials to me, Tom likes to say, the number one objective and, growing your business by referral is having people speaking positively on your behalf, creating buzz. And testimonials are an amazing way to make that happen. All right. So I want to switch gears, and I'm actually going to kick this over to Tom because Tom is the first person that talked to me about your story. Now in the Asentiv community, we call that emotionally charged connection. But I think this is another one of those stories, another one of those things that you can tell inside your business that has massive impact. So Tom, putting you on the spot, though, you told me about it for the first time in 2005. So I think we should be okay. Tell us a little bit about your story. Not your story, but in general.
Well, let me explain all of this by telling a story. Yesterday, I was running a Zoom call for a group of about 30 business professionals. And we were talking about this concept of why you do what you do, the story of your business. What makes you passionate beyond the next guy in terms of why you do what you do? And I was mentioning to the group that every profession has competition, okay? And largely, many businesses run their businesses in the same way. You know, there's the basics of being a realtor. There's the basics of being a financial planner. There's the basics of being a chiropractor. But we've got to find some way to differentiate ourselves from those that are in the same industry as we are. And I think your why, your emotionally charged connection, the story of why you do what you do, is what separates you from your competition. When you share the story of why you do what you do, just as Bharat mentioned earlier, it's a pull strategy. It's not a push strategy. When I share with people why I do what I do, I give them an opportunity to fall in love with me. And I don't say that, oh, I'll just leave it at that, okay? But the point is that referral-based marketing is all about the law of attraction. And if the concept of building relationships is from heart to heart, not to head, if you will. And if I share my heart with somebody in terms of why I do what I do, I let them know that it's not about making a buck for me, generating a new client, a new piece of business. It's about filling my heart and filling my soul. And at the same time, when I open up to them at that level, I'm inviting them to open up to me at that level. And that's where relationships begin.
That's excellent. Yeah, I think I think sometimes people want to be this perfect professional, and to open up and be vulnerable and share, you know, here's really where I come from, can be hard for people. It can be, you know, it's called the emotionally charged connection, I think, because it is exactly that. It's an emotional conversation. And I talk to most entrepreneurs, and I will say the majority of entrepreneurs that I've met over the 15 years or so that I've been doing this do all have that underlying story, that passion that's driving them. Now, there are a small percentage that are like, oh, this is why I hate doing what I'm doing. It's time for a new career. But the majority of us that love what we do, there's that underlying. But not all of us are in touch with that. Not all of us are really, you know, clear on how to articulate such a powerful story within our business. So what if we're like, I don't, you know, I'm all good. I hear you, Tom. Okay, this is a way for me to stand out. This is a way for me to connect. You know, this is that emotional. You know, I love Bharat used the push pull. I think about a magnet with attracting and repelling. So if we're not clear what our why is, what our emotionally charged connection is, what can we do? How do we come up with that?
Could take an incentive module where we help people explore that conversation within themselves. That's the direct response or answer. But Bharat may have further thoughts on this.
Yeah, and I guess, and we'll go over to Bharat, but yeah, this is, we do spend, so in the Asentiv Pro or the Ignite Your Business, we do it over 10 modules, and one of the 10 modules, module 2, is called Attracting Clients with Ease, and it is all about the emotionally charged connection. So it's a 2.5-hour conversation that I'm asking. I always joke, like, here's the full-length version, here's your Twitter version. I'm sorry, full-length Cliff Notes, and now I'm asking for the Twitter version of it. All right, Bharat.
So I normally, when I speak to prospects also, they say, oh, I know my why very well. And one of the guys said, I'm doing this because my daughter, I want to give them a higher education. What else? So if you go to a client and say, my daughter want to have a higher education, I want to earn more money, that means you're trying to steal money from the client. What's the benefit of them? So majorly, you find people saying, oh, I know my why very well. why I'm doing what I'm doing. But until they hear the story from us, they understand the difference in why what we are sharing and what they have it. And that's what we do in Asentiv, Grow or Ignite Your Business, which is Emotionally Charged Connection, ECC. And that actually makes a big difference when we share the story and then say, oh, we want to work with you. No matter they know their why at whatever level they have it, but they want to work with you. And then they go deep exploring into it. It's not about them only, it's about people around them. And that makes a big difference.
Mm.
Yeah.
That
So I, yes.
Go ahead.
So I have a classic story. 3 days back, I was having a workshop at my client's place with the senior management, and then he actually shared in front of his person. He said, I was about to lose a corporate client. They are into business of moving goods, freight forwarding and logistics, and which is like a time responsive services. And one of his big corporate client was about to leave him because of some complaint. When they visited their office, he shared why he's in this business. And instead of complain, they in fact gave him 3 more accounts because they could understand the owner's why is more powerful than what they were looking for. And that's the way they got a great connect. And he was happy that my ECC sharing has made a big difference. So why we do what we do, it's not about me, it's about we.
Mm.
It's about
I,
people around us.
I love that. Yeah, I think so oftentimes when business owners and entrepreneurs come from a perspective of here's me, here's me, here's me. Let me tell you about my qualifications. Let me tell you about my history. Let me tell you about what I'm going to do. And I love the idea of making it about them or making it about a we. Here's how we are going to be able to help you achieve your goals. Here's how we are going to be able to help you get what it is that you need to get. And I think that when we are open, when we are vulnerable, when we're willing to share, here's why we get up each day. Here's what inspires us to get out of bed bright and early. This is it's earlier for Tom and I, later for Bharat as we're across the globe. But we're up here, bright and early because we get to share and make that impact for people. And so to me, the number one thing on my list of things that I want my referral sources to know, I want my prospects to know, I want my clients to know, is my why, my emotionally charged connection.
And to add a perspective to what Bharat was talking about, I think that our why, our ECC, is actually rooted in our past. I know, we joke around and we say Asentiv is all about making money, saving time, and having fun. Well, making money is my portion of that story in the partnership that I have with Tiffany, because my parents retired with $100,000 in the bank. Here in the United States, $100,000 is not that much money. They led their whole life, living as best they could, and their nest egg at the end of that life was $100,000. And if I can position people to put themselves in a better place at their time of retirement, that's what I'm all about. That's part of what drives me. And at the same time, what drives Tiffany is her mom fell ill and passed away, unfortunately. But Tiffany, towards the end of her mother's life, had the opportunity to spend so much time with her mom, with her loved ones, with her family. And so for Tiffany, teaching Asentiv principles is all about how can I save you time in running your business so that you can live a more complete lifestyle within the framework of your values, family, fun, community.
Thanks for sharing, Tom.
Mm.
Yeah, so I think there's huge value in the emotionally charged connection. I think it's the number one story. Again, we're kind of giving you the Twitter version. Check out Asentiv.com. Bharat is there in India. We're here in the United States. And in just a minute, give everybody an opportunity to tell you how to get in contact with us. Anything else, gentlemen, that you want to add on the emotionally charged connection?
Yes.
Okay.
So some of the listeners out there are saying, I don't know about this emotionally charged connection.
That was me 15 years ago. I was like, what the heck?
Great. So when Asentiv expanded into Germany, the people that were running Asentiv at the time said this concept of ECC and why you do what you do will not fly with the Germans. Okay, they're these stoic, salt of the earth type people, very courageous and commanding presence. And what we discovered is the concept of why people do what we do. Uh, and what makes us passionate is not a geographical thing. It's a human thing. And as we rolled Asentiv out into Germany, we learned this because, or the German business professionals just ate this concept up and really got the essence of the fact that when we're doing business by referral through relationships, that it's about opening your heart to others and subsequently inviting them to open their heart to you. And that's where relationships, again, loyalty, so on and so forth, come from. And I think Bharat's story of the company owner who ran the freight forwarding company,
Yes.
that they were going to lose a client until the owner of the freight forwarding company shared why it is that they do what they do. And the customer got that it wasn't just about dollars and cents. It was about a passion in the owner's heart that he was able to inspire his organization with, so that 99.9% of the time, quality was going to be there. Do we all fall down sometimes? Sure, we all fall down sometimes. But sharing your why lets other people know why you're passionate about what you do, and you give more value than you get.
One of the objection I get on sharing of ECC, people say emotions don't drive businesses. Businesses are transactional. And I say to them, it's not about emotions for businesses. It's about emotions about people. People buy and sell because of emotions. So you don't need to sell businesses. You need to market yourself in the right way. And that's why ECC comes into picture. And they remember you for long term. It's not for a transaction, it's for a relationship.
Yes, definitely. I think we make decisions with our heart. I know technically it's not our heart, it's a different part of our brain, but we make decisions emotionally and we rationalize them and justify them up here. And so if people are making decisions here, why in the world aren't we marketing? Why aren't we selling from an emotional standpoint? And to me, the emotionally charged connection, the testimonials really hit on that emotional aspect. And one of our Facebook users shared ECC Thug Life. All right, y'all. I'd like to know who to give credit to. I'll have to find out who said that. But yes, ECC, it was one of those things that I didn't love. And there are some days I still don't want to share my emotionally charged connection because it does take a little bit of being open and being vulnerable. But I think those are the times typically where we need to share the most. So we've got about 90 seconds left here. What I want to do really quickly is give the gentleman an opportunity to introduce themselves. So tell us who you are, what you do, any kind of wrap up that you want to share on this conversation and how people can find you. And Bharat, we're going to let you do your kind of introduction here at the end first.
Well, Tiffany, growing up, I always felt I was loved but never guided. And I was self-inspired to do a lot of things. So what I do is right now inspire a lot of business owners in Mumbai, India, to be doing the best what they can do. And I'm from Mumbai, India, other part of the world. It's the evening time. That's where they can look around my name, Bharat Jithani, on Google, and that will get them the connection to my website, centralindia.asentiv.com.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Fleming.
I'm Tom Fleming. I've been teaching referral-based marketing skills since 1996, which basically means I've made more mistakes in growing a business by referral than the average bear out there. My intention is to help people avoid the potholes that I've stepped in by teaching them how to get from point A to point B in their business and their life in a straight direction. And I just want to summarize the two main points that we've talked about today quickly. The power of testimonials, the power of you sharing testimonials, the power of your referral partners sharing testimonials about your business. And then the second conversation, main portion of the conversation we've had today is around why do you do what you do? Getting in touch with that and being comfortable in sharing that with people in an effort to build relationships, because that's what we do to attract business in this world of relationship marketing, referral-based marketing. You can reach me at tomf@asentiv.com, ASENTIV.com, or if you're friendly with Tiffany, she always knows where I am.
And it's easy because you don't go very many places anymore. Nowadays, it makes it easy to find you. And hi, y'all. Tiffany Kellogg here. My goal is to help people live the life they desire. And we do that by getting more money, more time, more fun. We never know how much time we have left. And so we want to make the most of it. And my goal is just get those referrals flowing into your business so you can have that amazing business and spectacular life. Website's tampa.asentiv.com. And you can find me pretty much anywhere on social media at Tiffany Kellogg. I wasn't sure about the whole IE and Tiffany growing up, but it makes it super easy to find me because I'm kind of the only one, to my knowledge, with it spelled that way. So you can reach out, find me, and any of us are happy to, work with you on this idea of why to sell stories in business. Both of these topics are things that we talk about quite a bit inside Asentives Ignite Your Business and Asentives Pro. Also, I do have some videos on these topics on my YouTube channel. So if you want to pop over to YouTube, check those out for some additional information, or let us know, depending on where in the world you're at, you want to come check out a module to learn more about this emotionally charged connection. So I want to say thank you, gentlemen, very much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Good to see you, Bharat.
Happy networking, y'all.
Thank you, Tiffany.